JC, I told you about the Lil Wayne video in confidence.
Oh, no.
You didn't need to bring it up to everybody, even though it's my most proud achievement. Just kidding. Anyways, you guys, so I recently just went through a breakup. It was a pretty tough one. I actually had to have the guy's number blocked. He wasn't stalking me necessarily, but I had to have him blocked, you know, as a precaution, like just in case he ever decides to stop calling me. I don't want to know, like, I just want to think that he kept calling me forever and ever and ever. Just like all my other exes, who I also had blocked right after being dumped by them. Anyway, breakups are hard, but I think I'm doing pretty well. My ex was kind of a jerk anyways. You know, he like would say stupid things, such as, you know, one time I had a copy of Cosmo laying around with Megan Fox on the cover, and he saw it and he goes, "Oh damn, that Megan Fox, she's pretty hot." And I was like, "Thanks, Christopher Columbus, for that enlightening discovery. Yeah, Megan Fox is super hot, but I have it on pretty good authority that she sucks at software engineering." So I guess we're like tied. Because that's what I do professionally. You know, at least in my free time, I try to be a hot woman. She doesn't even dabble in my shit, so. It's pretty sad, you know, it's sad for her. So like I said, I'm a software engineer. And are any of you guys into like engineering and technology and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Woo! Cool, good for you. Personally, not for me. It's kind of just something I started doing to sound more interesting at girls' night. Before you judge me, relax. Okay, girls' night is this thing where I get together with a bunch of guys that I met on Craigslist and we watch girls. Not to be, and like, I mean, you know, it's very fun. I also call it Bachelorette by surprise because they don't know until they get there that there's going to be, you know, like a bunch of dudes.
You need anything?
Don't confuse it with Bachelor by surprise, which is when me and a bunch of my girlfriends pair with the same guy on Tinder, and then we all show up for the day and we're like, choose. I don't like it that much. It's surprising. Not all men are idiots, but all the men I've ever dated are, so that's gotta be like 70% of the New York-based males, including the homeless. I have actually dated a homeless. I didn't know at first, but I figured it out on my own. The morning after our first date, he was leaving my place and he was like, "See ya, I'll call you when I get home." And that was like 4 days ago. And so I still haven't heard from him. So I put two and two together and I realized that he is in fact homeless. Which is a shame, you know, like he should have just been honest with me and told me, because honesty, that's the real deal breaker. Like homelessness, I could work with, you know, like there are a few perks or a few attractive qualities to a homeless man. For instance, he wouldn't be so resistant to moving in with me. Some of my ex-boyfriends have been. I don't know why. And, you know, we wouldn't have to choose my place or his. And, you know, I wouldn't even have to make any room for his stuff because my recycling bin is always empty. So, I have plenty of room for bottles and cans. Yeah, so dating is cool. I'll tell you guys a little bit about my dating life. I went on a date with this guy, and I really didn't like him. But, you know, then he didn't, like, text me or anything, so I was like, oh, I'm intrigued. Like, what's your deal? You're better than me. I want to know why. And I wanted to reach out, but I'm really not used to texting the guy first. So I thought about what to say for a while, and then eventually I sent him a text that said, "Hey, I finally got that stain out of my dress." Who knew linen could harden like that? Pretty cool, right? And he didn't respond, so I sent him a follow-up that said, whoops, wrong text. Anyways, what are you up to? I'm still waiting to hear back from him, but I think we know who won that round. Then I met this guy that I thought I had a real connection with, but he just dumped me because I'm not Jewish. Yeah, I was very upset. My heart was broken. I really liked him. And then he had the nerve to add insult to injury by trying to imply that it was my own fault for not being more clear about my background when we first met on JDate. So now, you know, my JDate profile is super honest. My username is ShiksAppeal865. Seriously, look me up. And my About Me just says, willing to convert. In the meantime, let's get together and piss off your mom. I'm located on the Upper West Side. Yeah, so I'm still single. I'm newly single. So I just got retested for ADHD because doctors' offices are a great place to meet doctors. And you know, so I just bit the bullet. I got retested, and in the words of my future cougar self, I still got it. I thought it was kind of strange though when during my evaluation my doctor asked me to rate my love life on a scale of Kardashians, Kris Jenner being the worst ever and Northwest being perfection. I was like, great question, but that's kind of odd. But he's my doctor, I trust him, so I just answered honestly. I was like, well, my love life is a total train wreck, so I'm tempted to give it a Lamar Odom, but oh, okay. I mean, Scott Disick. Come on, he's that guy. But it's also quite entertaining, so I'm gonna give it a Kanye. And he was like, Betsy, that doesn't really answer the question. The question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it for you to focus during a one-on-one conversation? And I was like, okay, doc, that kind of came out of left field. I much preferred what we were talking about before. He seemed like a little bit annoyed with me, but I know that I'm still one of his favorite patients because during our sessions together, he's always saying, fascinating. Under his breath, and like, he's like, fascinating, and then he like writes a bunch of notes. What was I just talking about again? Oh, my like dating life. I did actually meet someone that day in the shrink's office. Unfortunately, not a doctor, it was a fellow patient. So yeah, he also has ADD, which is great because we have a lot in common, you know, like quite a bit of debt and some ongoing legal issues as a result of the debt and like a thorough knowledge of all of Reddit. So he's a great guy, but you know, there's just one thing, the sex with him is terrible because neither of us can finish anything. Anyways, so yeah, like I said before, I'm a software engineer. So, like most engineering teams, mine is predominantly men, more specifically, young white men. So I think it's understandable that scares me a little bit. You know, like I follow the news, so I know what these guys are capable of. And I think that it's understandable that I get a little bit nervous whenever I see one of them walking towards me with like their big backpack full of like who knows what, and like disillusionment and like, you know, entitlement and like the right to bear arms, like. And so, you know, I know that being in close quarters all day, every day with these young white guys puts me in great danger of going camping. And that would literally kill me. Well, maybe it wouldn't literally kill me, but, you know, what if, you know, God forbid, I got roped into one of these camping trips and then in a moment of weakness and misogyny, one of these white guys decided to whip out his big, pale acoustic guitar and play a cover of a Dispatch song. Like, that would literally kill me because I would murder-suicide him. Anyways, speaking of work, I've recently been being sexually harassed at work. For those of you who don't know, sexual harassment is when one of your coworkers hits on you or touches you inappropriately and they're not hot. It's awful. It's awful. It's almost as bad as being catcalled when, like, you know you look bad. I'm like, oh, you really do just do this to anyone. This is calling, you know, all of those previous catcalls into question, which are very validating. Anyways, you guys, I'm obviously joking. Have you guys been seeing all of the discussion of catcalling recently in the media? It's great. I'm so happy about it. Finally, women are putting their foot down and, you know, calling for an end to this, like, bullshit, like, objectification in the streets. And I'm so happy about it, and I think it's great that they're doing it just now, because this way, as I age, I won't have to wonder why I'm being catcalled less and less over time. Because I'll know it's because of feminism. So, you guys, thank you, Susan B. Anthony. Thank you to you guys. You guys have been great. I've been Betsy Carroll. Thank you so much.
Betsy Carroll, everyone. That was awesome.